You guys, one of the things that I love about Brother is they try really hard to make everything compatible. So I've gotten some questions about whether the Rhinestone Kit, which came out way back, maybe 5 years ago, I'm thinking, when the first ScanNCuts were out, whether that's compatible with the ScanNCut DX, and the answer, of course, is yes. So hey, I'm Julie, Fei-Fan Balzer, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Rhinestone Kit with your ScanNCut DX. I'm on my tablet in Canvas Workspace Online. I'm going to choose New. And then because I've activated the Rhinestone Kit, you'll see that there are a bunch of different rhinestone patterns. But you can actually turn any design into a rhinestone pattern. So I am going to go up to my basic shapes and choose just a basic fun shape. So how about this little thing right there? Now I'm going to go to the hamburger down here. That's what we call these 3 lines. And I'm going to choose Premium. And again, because I've activated the Rhinestone Kit, you can see that the Rhinestone Wizard comes up right here. So I'm going to select that center icon. And now it's going to allow me to choose how I want the rhinestones to appear, along with the stone size, the spacing, the steps, the angle. I mean, I can customize this as much as I want. I can hit OK. And I can now see my design. But let me zoom in for you here. There's my design and it looks great. Let's say it's not the right size though. You can see that this is just over 2 by just under 4. If I want to resize it, it goes blank for a second and then it recalculates because the rhinestones are a particular size, so it's redistributing them. And now the same thing is true if I decide I don't like this circular arrangement. I can again hit Premium. And let's say I want a more linear arrangement because it's a very linear shape. I just hit OK. And boom, it changes it to this much more linear pattern that seems to follow the shape. So now we're going to go ahead and download this. Let's transfer it wirelessly. And now it's time to grab our Rhinestone Kit. So here are the items that I want to make sure that I have. I want to make sure I have my box lid, which is really important because it acts as kind of a holder. And then this doesn't look like much, but it comes in your kit and it's really important. You can see it's shiny on one side and it's dull and has a sticker on the other. And this is used for adding the rhinestones to the template, so it's really important to keep this. Then I have what I call the magic brush that comes in the kit that helps the rhinestones pop in place. This is a little tool that helps the rhinestones also go to where you want. I made sure that I picked rhinestones that were the size that I was using in Canvas Workspace Online, which is 10. Then this is a transfer sheet. It actually comes in a large 12 by 12 sheet, but you can see I just cut out the small piece that I need. And the same is true with the template material, which sort of feels like black velvet, is it comes in a big 12 by 12 sheet, and you can see I just keep cutting it down to use just the amount that I need. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this template material onto a mat, retrieve my file, and we'll cut it out. There are a couple things I'd like to point out. The first is that I'm using a mat with a high-tack fabric support sheet on it because this has a very slick back and I want it to stay. The second thing is I am using a blade that I really only use for fabric because this to me is a fabric-like material. So I'm going to retrieve data, choose the wireless button. There's my file. So I want to scan in my material to make sure that it's perfectly placed. I'm going to drag this into place. And now the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a test cut because I don't want to cut through the backing. I just want to cut through the velvet part. It's kind of like cutting vinyl. So if you think about that, you want the half pressure on, but this is much thicker than vinyl. So I'm actually going to do a test cut and raise the cut pressure maybe, I would say maybe to a 3, and then we're going to see how that goes. So I'm going to choose test. And of course I don't want the cut way over there. If it's a little bit dark and you can't see where your actual cut file is, remember, you can lighten it up in the settings. Okay, so there it is. There's my test. Let's go ahead and see how that goes. So the first thing that I want to check is I want to see, did it cut through? And it did. You can see the triangle right there. The next thing, however, that I want to test is, did it cut all the way through the yellow paper? And it did. So I have my pressure too high. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say test again. Then I'm going to move that test cut up. I'm going to bring the pressure down and try to start again. Okay, so as you remember, question number 1, did it cut the triangle? It did. Question number 2, did it cut through the yellow paper? Ugh, it did again. Okay, so guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do another test cut. So the first check, did it cut through? It did. The second check, did it cut through the paper? Oh man, still cutting through the paper. Looks like I have to lower the pressure even more. And because I can't remember where my test cuts are, I'm actually going to remove them. So I'm going to remove those. And I'm going to go ahead and rescan this so I can place my next test cut perfectly. So let's hope that 4th time is the charm. Okay, it definitely cut through. Did it cut through the paper as well? Nope. 4th time is the charm. So because that all worked, then I don't have to hit test again this time. I just hit start. So it's done cutting. I'm going to go ahead and remove this whole piece of paper. There you go, and you can see it comes off. So let me grab my box lid and let's get going. So when I peel this up, sometimes the pieces will come out and sometimes they won't. So if they don't just automatically come off on the paper, you can pretty much just poke them out with your fingers. The back of this is sticky, so you can see that sometimes it'll just stick to your fingers. So you can also just kind of see if you can peel away any. Once you have this, you want to go ahead and trim away the test cuts. You don't need those anymore. So this is just garbage. Now this template is reusable, so I'm going to save this piece because I can put it back on here. I don't need that test cut in order to save it later, but for now I'm going to place it down onto my white piece of shiny cardstock that came in my kit. And then I'm going to open up my rhinestones. So this is very technical. You just kind of dump your rhinestones all over the place. And that's when this magic brush comes in, because you're going to rub it in a circular motion. and you'll notice that the rhinestones all seem to magically appear face up and in the spots where they need to be in your template. And if you find that you have some empty spaces, you can always sort of throw some more rhinestones on and rub again. I'm rubbing lightly, by the way, but if you have something that's stubborn and you just can't get one in, that's what this tool is for, is you can pick up an individual stone and coax it into place just like that. So once you have everything arranged in your template, this is why you're in the box top and not just on your desk. You want to kind of brush the rhinestones away, and then you'll pick those up and save them for later. So there's really nothing wasted here. I really like that. So once you've gotten everything in place, you're going to take that transfer sheet and press it down. This is now going to lift the rhinestones out so that they're in the pattern from the template, and we're going to take this over to our ironing board. And you can put it back onto the backing so that you don't even have to do it right away. You can save this until you're ready to use it. So you could actually make a ton of these as like appliques for something, and then when you're ready, you line them all up. So these are hot fix stones. What that means is that they have glue on the back that is going to melt with the application of an iron. So I'm going to use a pressing sheet, which can just be another piece of fabric, and I have an iron, and I'm just going to hold it with some firm pressure. So you want to wait for this to cool off before you try to peel the plastic. Once it's cool, you should be able to gently pull and the transfer sheet will come right off. You can reuse the transfer sheet so you can put it back on its backing and save it. And if you're at all concerned that for some reason these stones are not affixed, you can of course iron them again, but they're on there and they're beautiful and glittery. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll add a little bit of bling to your life with the Rhinestone Kit. For more tips, tricks, and tutorials, be sure to check out my blog at balzerdesigns.typepad.com, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget about the ScanNCut website at ScanNCut.com.